Hello everybody, welcome back to Janson Radio Podcast. Thank you very much for tuning into the show today. Beberapa dari kalian pernah request ke gue untuk ngundang seorang knife maker atau pembuat pisau ke podcast ini dan kita ajak ngobrol-ngobrol. Kebetulan kemarin di Ubud Festival itu salah satu topik pembicaraannya itu adalah knife making. Jadi gue ketemu satu orang yang kisah hidupnya sangat menarik, namanya KADEK MERTA DWI GUNA dari Sounds Familiar Knife. Dia itu seorang fotografer yang kerjaannya foto-foto orang kalau lagi surfing. Nah, waktu Bali kena pandemi dan tourism itu mati, basically dia nggak bisa foto-foto lagi. Dia melanjutkan usaha keluarganya yang sudah membuat pisau atau bilangnya biasanya blacksmith itu dari tahun 1900. Dan dia adalah generasi ketiga yang tadinya nggak pernah mau deh nyentuh bisnis keluarganya karena berisik banget di rumahnya dari kecil katanya. Nah, Sound Familiar Knife ini itu bikin Japanese knife buat chef-chef di Indonesia, bahkan udah beberapa yang dikirim ke luar negeri juga. Dan bisnis keluarganya itu sangat menarik, bikin pisau tradisional Bali yang buat nyincang-nyincang lawar tuh, yang tebel dan keren banget. Nah, kita akan ngomongin proses pembuatan pisau dari awal sampai akhir conversation-nya. Sangat menarik, gue belajar banyak dan yang pastinya kalian juga bisa belajar banyak dari video ini. Oke, without further ado, please welcome KADEK MERTA DWI GUNA. Enjoy the show.
Hello. Thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you everybody, good evening. First of all, I want to thank you for being here. And I'm so honored here to help moderate and help KADEK to tell his story about his family business, who I heard has been making handmade, handcrafted knives since the 1900s. So, okay, let's begin. Maybe first you can display your knives, KADEK.
My name is KADEK. I'm coming from the blacksmith family who already make a knife since 1900. So now I'm the fifth generation of my family who continuing the family heritage doing this blacksmith making knife.
And can you tell us how do you start? Are you from, since you're a child, did you help out in the workshops or you just start now making?
Since when I was child, my family always told me and pushed me to continue the legacy to make knives. But yeah, you know, as a kid, when your parent told you to do something, you just like, nah, there's a big no. What is knife, you know? You can bring something for your life. And then since I grew up, and then I never touched knife making. So I like doing something like photography. So my last job is photographer, which is a surf photographer. And then I've been doing that since 6 years. And then the COVID came, and then there is no more client came to Bali because they stopped the tourism. And then since that, I was like, how can I make money for living? And then I was looking to my workshop, and then I was maybe knife is the answer. So that's the day I began to making knife. It's last year actually. It's pretty new. And then I was looking in what they don't have in Indonesia. So I was looking, they don't have really much of kitchen knife.
Yeah, the good ones.
Yeah, people who make kitchen knife. There's a few, maybe like 5 or 10 around Indonesia, but not really much. And so I decided to make a kitchen knife, but more like a Japanese kitchen knife.
Why do you decide to make a Japanese kitchen knife?
Because the history of the knife making from Japan is kind of like same from Bali or Indonesia. It's really rich culture, traditional from family to family, and then I really like the shape of the knife also from the Japanese. So that's really interesting.
And I have to ask, how does it feel growing up in a blacksmith family? Like the workshop is in your home?
Yeah, the workshop is in my house.
Yeah.
So it's a working industry, home industry. Sorry. So how does it feel to grow up in the blacksmith family? It's annoying, to be honest, because since 9 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon, the hammer sounds and the grinding is really annoying. I feel sorry for my neighborhood if they are here. I'm sorry, but it's really annoying. But yeah, it's really good.
And now do your family feels proud you're continuing the legacy?
I bet they so.
They don't told you anything?
They never like showing up the proud of in my face. They just like told to other family or this customer came, oh, this is my knife, son. The knife is already going to, like to America, blah, blah, blah. But I was like, okay. Yeah.
Okay, now let's show the audience first the traditional Balinese knife.
My father is still making like Balinese traditional knives, and then me is doing more like a professional kitchen knife. So in my house there is kind of like two brands. So one is my father and then one is mine. So the Balinese one is this one. It's called Blakas for the big one and Pengutik for the small one. And this is really traditional knife from Bali that they using in the house or they using in the banjar for the ceremony, or they go to some wedding or some like a cremation to make a lot of food. So this is what they use it.
Okay. Yes. Okay. What does it called?
So the first one is called Blakas. Blakas is really big knife and then it's really thick. And why it's thick? Because they using kind of like one knife for everything. So they use it for cutting the pig bones or even like cow. And then they gonna use it for slicing meat and then make a lawar. So they usually never use it smooth. So they always use it really raw and hard.
That's why it needs to be thick.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay.
And then that's why they cover by like a brass, so to prevent the handle is breaking, because the private of they using is really hard. So usually this one is kind of like big cutting board, and then a lot of herb, meat, and then they just gonna like chopping like this. So that's why it's gonna be really so strong. And then the small one called pengutik. So
Pengutik.
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 So this is normally they using for slicing bamboo to make a satay or make some ceremony stuff. So this is what they use it.
And what can you tell us about this from here to here? Because different knife maker usually have different motifs and handle, right?
Yeah, true. So the brass is kind of like, I don't know how is it called. It's kind of like a proud between his family, And then you can put it like simple thing here, like no engraving or Balinese carving, just simple brass. But some family doesn't like it. They want to look like, like rich.
It's for their ego.
Yeah, for the ego.
Okay.
So they put in like a Balinese carving in the brass. So that's the only difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now let's show us the modern knives.
So this is my knife from sounds familiar knife. This one is really standard kitchen knife that they use in kitchen or restaurant. This one is called gyuto. It's almost for everything, but not for bones, because it's really slim.
Gyuto.
Gyuto.
It's a Japanese chef knife for
This is the Japanese
utility.
kitchen knife. Yep.
Okay.
So this is what I'm doing for a year now. I've been learning them from all by YouTube because there is no people I can ask here who make the Japanese knife, right? And I just dig all the information, all the shape, all the function, and all the who is pioneer making kitchen knife in Japan. So all I dig from YouTube, and this is what I got from 1 year digging information by YouTube.
And what can you tell us about the types of steel that you use? Because from what I learned, there's a many types of steel, and it depends on the quality as well, right?
The steel that we use in the house is still like really common steel that we can find in Indonesia or Bali. One of them is called lip spring that you can find from old truck or old car, because nowadays the modern car not using the lip spring anymore. They use the spring one.
Okay.
Yeah. So the old lip spring that we can find in the second hand in some market, like a steel market, and then we buy that per kilo, and then we bring it home, and then we process by tempering and then heat treatment. And then the other material is called high-speed steel. So that one is basically a circular blade show that they use in the big industry for cutting steel. So that one, we don't need to tempering because the thickness is already great.
Yeah.
So we just need to cut it and then make a bevel from that.
Okay. Wow.
As you can see, all the tools is really still traditional. It's only one hand grind and then one drill. So if you compare back in Japan, it's really, really way so simple, because what they use in Japan or in European or American, the tool is really, really complete. They have, because also like it's really hard to find all the tools in Indonesia.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so after seeing the video, can you explain in a little bit more details a process of making a knife from a slab of steel to Japanese knife?
The first thing we do is like, usually we choose the steel, what steel we're gonna use it, and then what knife we're gonna make it. For example, if we're gonna make like this knife, it doesn't need to use really thick lip spring, right? So we choose the slim one, and then we cut it, but not really exactly cut, just raw cut, and then we process to the hammering process. It's maybe take like 30 minutes to 1 hour.
What does it do, the hammering process?
So the hammering is make the steel longer and then wider, and then to chasing also the slimness.
Okay.
And then if you like to put like it's called like kuroichi tsuchime. It's mean black with a hammering lip mark. So this one is basically came from the hammering process mark. So we keep it them. We don't grind that because some people like that finishing.
Yeah.
And also they believe if you cut it like carrot, apple, the object doesn't
Doesn't
stuck
stay.
here.
Okay.
Because they
stuck,
have
yeah.
like unsurfaced.
Yeah, uneven surface.
Yep,
Yeah.
true.
Okay, after the hammering?
So after the hammering, we're gonna do grinding. So make the exactly shape that we want, and then making the bevel. So this one is called bevel. It's only in this area. Usually Japanese kitchen knife have one single bevel,
Yes.
and then European have two single bevel. So this is double bevel, left and right. And The good thing is also if you have a double bevel knife, you can use left-handed and then right-handed.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's the grinding part to make the shape. And then the third part is heat treatment, because in this steel they don't have really much carbon content. So how to active the carbon? So we do heat treatment by putting the knife again in the fire. So we make sure the red area only stay in the bevel area, not to in this area.
Okay.
So the red area must be only in the bevel area. So on this one. And then after that, if the temperature is really good, so we're gonna choose we heat treatment with the water or with the oil.
What's
If the
different?
material is really good,
Yeah.
we can use the oil to activate the carbon. And then if the material is kind of like really, really bad, we have to choose water.
What do you mean by activating the carbon?
Because this one is kind of still like soft steel. They don't have carbon. So if you make a knife without heat treatment with a soft steel, you can make a sharp knife, but it can be hold the thickness of the sharp area strong. So the thickness or the sharp area will be like
Bend.
holding,
Okay.
bend, because there is no carbon to hold
I see.
the thickness. So that's why we need to activate the carbon to hold strong the sharp area. So
Okay.
yeah, that's why.
After the heat treatment?
And back to the grind part to do finishing. And then after the finishing, the blade is already done. So we make the handle from the wood or from the plastic, like this one, from the plastic recycle. So last month, I do some R&D collaboration with the Potato Head. So I asked them to give me some sample of the plastic recycle block. So the trash they pick up from the beach usually,
Yeah.
from the plastic that came from from the house to the river and then end up in the beach. So they picked up that and then make some trash block, maybe like 3 centimeter thick. And when I got there, and then just like take the plastic block and then bring it to my house and then process it. And then this is how it's look now. From trash became a knife.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Wow. Now, what type of knife is this?
So this one is called Kiritsuke.
Kiritsuke.
It's almost same like Gyoto.
Yeah.
It's multi-purpose, but not bones. So usually they're gonna use this for vegetable, herbs, or meat, or even fish to slicing, because it's really, really thin. It's really good for vegetable and fish. So yep, this is the plastic recycle.
And after doing this for what, a year
A year now.
now, do you enjoy the process of knife making as much as being a surf photographer?
Really do, because before I never thinking it's gonna be like this. I didn't really expect that, because when I started, I never like have a really big dream. Like everybody does, like I'm gonna make this, I'm gonna grow this really
You mean-
fast and big.
Okay.
But I would just like go with the flow, and then a year, it's really short time, and then I've been meet a lot of people, like really, really strong, powerful people, like really success on what they're doing by knife. I get more connection, and then by doing this knife, it's better, like
You open a lot of doors.
a lot of opportunity.
Yeah. Who is your first customer?
First customer came from, if you know, it's a bake. It's located in Canggu, so it's basically it's like a coffee shop, like a cafe.
Yeah, a brunch
So,
place.
Yeah, brunch place. So they Yeah, there is the first customer. At the first, they buy some knife for the anniversary of the restaurant or the cafe, sorry. And then a few restaurant, a few chef, and then a friends. It's really good.
Okay, so please tell the audience if they want to make a custom knife from sounds familiar knife. How? Where do they go?
So at the moment, I can do the order in the Instagram or by WhatsApp. So it's still manual, no website yet.
What's the Instagram?
Sounds familiar underscore knives. It's really easy to find. And then if you need the number phone, it's also there. Everything is there. So yep, if you text me, kindly wait because I'm not robot. So I'm working alone.
Oh, you're still alone.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm still working alone.
And how long is the waiting list now? Kade? You're working alone, right?
Yeah, working alone. And then now in my phone, I have more like 40 people. Yeah, around 40 people.
40 people waiting list. So how long does it take to make one knife?
I always give them estimate time like from 3 until 6 week.
3 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, 3 to 6 week.
And
Depending the
waiting list,
yeah,
right?
how many knives they are making. Yeah.
And do you also make other types of knife?
I make a few knives. They
Because
use,
Japanese knives have lots of different types, right?
yep, true.
And there's one for each specific purpose. Japanese knife. Do you able to make them as well per request?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
All by request, and then basically I can do every shape of knife, even like Japanese, Western, or Siberian knife, and everything. Siberian knife.
What is that?
It's almost same, but just different the thickness and the functional.
Oh, okay.
They use in the forest for hunting, for surviving, because it's only one knife for everything.
Okay. Okay. So, listeners, please check out Sounds Familiar Knives for your proper chef's knife.
Thank you.
And I heard Chef Wayan, our friend,
Yeah, Chef Wayan from the Potato Head.
just bought a knife from you, right?
So before he flew out to New York, right?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's doing a book signing in New York.
In New York, he told me, he asked me like, do you have a ready stock knife? Because I never can make ready stock knife. So every knife is custom order. And when he asked that, I just said like, no, I don't have it. Why? Tomorrow I'm gonna fly to New York, and then I'm gonna give your knife to Dan Barber, which is one of the most,
He's one of the best chefs in the world.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I just like said, okay, wait tomorrow. It just took me like 8 hours to finish it, and then just send it in the morning.
Wow. Wow.
And now he bring it to New York, and then can't wait to see the picture with the Dan Barber.
Yeah. Good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So my final questions before we go to Q&A is, what are your hopes and dreams for the future of your business?
Not really much actually. I just need to finish all my waiting list because it's already so big. So that's the next target.
Okay, so me personally, I want to say thank you. You have an amazing story.
Yep. Thank you.
And thank you for keeping your family heritage alive in knife making. We wish you much success. Let's give Pak Kade a round of applause.
Thank you. Terima kasih.